show you quickly, before we dive into the screen designer, I just want to kind of show you how easy it is to switch between the screens. As you can see, this is just the layout that I'm using on this till. And this is just one of our standard screens that we have in the admin center. Just a simple comment, like we have the products, we have the categories, everything that has to be on a regular, we call it hospitality screen, is over here. Doing my payment, and then let's dive into the actual screen designer. So as I said, it's really easy to design your own layouts and your own screens. So in the admin center, you navigate to the setup and down to the screen designer. In here, you'll be able to find some like default screens that we've already created based on just what we believe is best practice and also what our other like customers are running with. So we have some different layouts that you can choose between. So you can choose them yourself, but we also have where you can either create a new one, or if there's one of those layouts that you really do like, but you might want to tweak it a little bit. The default layouts are not to be edited, but you can always duplicate them, and then you can create your own layout based on this one. So if I, for example, call this one new demo, and let's say that I like to have my categories out here, just like I do, but I, for example, want to have bigger product view than this one, then I can simply just drag and drop it. And this will always tell me, like, if I make it too big, as you can see out here, it will tell me that the receipt, like, this is not going to fit the standard screen, meaning that everything that is below this, it's not going to be possible to view it. So I don't have to be afraid that it's not going to fit a screen, because this one is always standard and it's always going to show you if there are any misfits. But from here, it's simply just a drag and drop layout. We built it to be simple. And let's say I don't want the customers out here, but I want the sales orders. So it's going to prop it up here, and then I can just drag it. So let's try to save this one. And to change it, we simply go to our locations. And then I have to choose my POS, and I'm running on the Soul Shop. Go into this one, and from here I can go into settings and see the receipts. And I can also go into my cash register. From here, click on the one that I'm running, and then choose the screen. Taking a bit to load. Perfect. From here, those are all the screens that I have available to me that have been built on this company. So I'm just going to choose this one, and then I'm going to save it. This does require a sync in the on the POS, meaning that I needed to close it, which I just did. So now I'm just going to reopen the point of sale, drag it over so you can actually see it. And now I can log into my user, and we should be able to see that the layout has changed. Otherwise, I will need to call Noah. No, as you can see, the layout has now changed. I've added the sales quote over here, and I don't have the quick buttons. I'm going to show you those, but I don't have those built on mine. That's why this one is on default, like just blank, because I haven't built it. But now I have the sales quote out in the front. I can choose a customer, just gonna search, and then I go straight into the sales quote So if you're, for example, a business running with a lot of B2B sales, then this would, for example, be preferable to actually have it right out there, so I don't have to navigate to the order manager and then choose if I want to make one of those. And this is just a scroll bar. You can also just make it bigger. But essentially, this is like the screen designer. It's built to be really, really easy to set up. As I said, it's just drag and drop. But what we also have built is the layout designer. So in here, you can actually build your own layouts. As you can see, this is just the one that I actually have in my layouts. But the restriction we have on the regular, like let's say screen designer, is that we follow BC rules, meaning that we display the categories, for example, and then all the products that are underneath this category are going to be displayed. With the layout designer, however, you can design your own categories and subcategories. So even though it's categorized in one way in Business Central, you might not want it to be the same in your POS because you might have some other ways of working within the point of sale, meaning that you want to build your own categories that are not like dependent on BC. And that's why we have built the layout designer, so you can actually build it your own and like make your own rules. But you want the reporting, of course, to be right in Business Central. So let's say I'm selling a tree. I wanted to go under a certain category in BC, but I might not have a barcode for it. So working on a point of sale, if I always have to go into the category and then find the tree because I have to manually enter it, that might take some time, might be just insufficient, or maybe just not the best practice. So we built this so you can actually make like your own kind of shortcuts and make your own, like let's say, quick products. Because this, for example, this will always take me to the front page, but from here I can just have, as I said, layouts on top of layouts. So it simply works that I define how many rows I want to have displayed, both the columns and rows. So I'll be having 6 times 8. From here, I can pick a product, and this will prompt me to Business Central. And so I can choose from every item I have in BC. I can edit, and then I can update the layout. I do believe that Jonas, who's also in our customer success team, he's actually built a layout for me that I can use. Let me just try to save this. Yes, he's also already built some layouts for me that I actually can use. So how it works with layouts is that you can create new ones and you actually create dimensions. So first you create a foundation, which is this one, for example, the one that I just made. And then you add another layout, and then you can like connect those two. So every time you have a button, those are going to be connected. Let me see. Now, I think I can show you it on the POS because I do believe that my colleague was so kind to build the actual layout, so I'll be able to show it. There we go. Layout for demo. So As I said, you build the dimensions and it kind of just makes it easier for you to navigate between pages without having to use, for example, the category navigation, and you're not going to be restricted to only the categories that you have. So, for example, this one, now he's built a layout for me. So as you can see, you can also have some colors on it, and you can have so it can be more restricted to your own. But from here, you can, instead of just having like chairs, you can both navigate. You always have the home button because as I said, you can have layouts that will take you like, let's say 8 steps back. And then instead of having to navigate all the time, you just have the home button over there. But you can use this for example, quick products or products that don't have a barcode. Then it's going to be way easier to navigate as a store clerk. After this meeting, we're also going to be sending you direct links. I know you probably all know our help center for now. Guessing you've all been through this, but Noah actually created a really detailed guide as well that kind of just go through the configuration of how to use the layout designer and best practices, of course, as well as how to add and pick from your PC and how to add it into the point of sale. It's quite straightforward as everything that we try to build. We try to make it as simple to navigate as possible. But in short, this is the layout designer and what it's actually meant to do, and why we believe this is a really nice feature to have, as you're not, as said, restricted to Business Central. Yes. So what we're also going to be showing you today is the receipt setup. So you have different ways of setting up your receipts. I mean, it's customizable to some extent. So what we have done is to customize your receipt, you go to setup and you go to companies. From here, like if you have access, now I only have access to my company here, but many of you working as partners, you might have access to different companies for different customers. So you always have to choose which company you want to be editing. So I'm going into this company. And from here, we have files. And this is essentially just the different pictures I can use. And I'm just going to pick a file. I actually do believe I've already put it in. But from here, you can upload your logos that you want to be displayed on the receipt, for example. So I'm just going to open this one and upload. Once that one is uploaded, I can now pick a file, and now I simply go down to my CAS locations and I choose which location I want this to be displayed. As you can have different receipt layouts for different tills. So even if you have even if it's the same company, then you might not want the same receipt layout, of course, for the different locations, because the different locations have different addresses, different like phone numbers, etc. That's why it's differentiated. So I just go in here, and now I'm on this one. So I can click on menu and I can click on setting. So this is my one, and now we're gonna call it POS-ONE. The refunds period are also defined in here, but from here I'm just gonna select the one that I just uploaded. And I'm gonna edit this one to be Ode, which is our location. Yes. You can also add an image in the footer if you want. So a lot of companies, if they have any events coming up, or if they have like their main logo and a differentiated logo, then you can add that to the footer as well. I'm just gonna put one in the header because I think that is prettier to only have one, but that is just me. And then you can of course add in your like footer text as well. So you can have your opening hours, you can have um, email lists, you can have everything that you want to be displayed on any receipts, then you can put that into here. So I'm just gonna put our come. Okay, so now I just put in the receipt, and this one will of course also require that I start the till up again. Sorry, I have a phone ringing on the other side. Annoying. Okay, that was better. Now, from here, I simply choose my receipt, go into my cashier, and just gonna make a sale. And we also have the email receipt if you have not seen it yet, but I'm just gonna print the receipt. Now, I don't have any direct printers to it, but I can both find it from my files now, but I can also just navigate to the history. This is the one that I just made now, and show the receipt. This is going to display copy, as this would essentially be a copy as I'm going into the history. But as you can see, I have my logo now. I have the updated text. This is of course required that I always display customer, cash register, clerk, etc. At least in Denmark, this is a requirement in most countries. Here I have my product, rounding because I said cash. I will always do a rounding because we don't accept this in euros. And then I have my footer over here. As I said, you could add an image and that would be displayed just here, right before, like right after the QR code, if I had a footer image as well. But here I just have my phone number and store hours, etc. And as I said, this is customizable to your own stores and to each and every store that you want it to be on. Yes. And yeah, from here I can also, of course, reprint it. So essentially, this is what Noah was going to be covering. And I said he's out sick, unfortunately. But I will be sharing with you. This is, of course, recorded, and I'm guessing he's going to do a recording of the layout setup as well, because I do believe that that needs some deeper explanation. But I'm gonna send over the links to the specific these specific help centers, like the guides for each and every topic. But if you have any questions, I'm gonna try to see if I can unmute this so you can actually be able to speak. Otherwise, please use the chat. No, I guess I'm not. Wait, tillad. I guess you're allowed now. So if you have any questions, then you can actually use the you're allowed now. Right?
All good.
Yeah.
Works now. All good.
Works now. Perfect. Now, if you have any questions, then please just ask. Otherwise, as I said, I will be sharing the recording and the guides, and then I guess for the layout designer, Noah will, once he's recovered, gonna be making more detailed explanation on that one, because that is the as I said, the guides cover it really well, but sometimes it's just nice to actually be able to listen to a video. Yes, perfect. Anyways, that was it for me. If you, as I said, if you have any questions, then just ask, and we always answer on our help email as well. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.